Welcome back to the Sentinel Report. Alex Newman, your host here. Folks, the Communist Chinese are buying up huge amounts of our farmland, and it's not a new problem, but it is getting renewed attention on Capitol Hill. I, for one, am grateful for that. Joining us now to discuss is Senator Tommy Tuberville. He represents the great state of Alabama in the U.S. Senate, and he's been very active on this particular front. Senator, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I'm on the Ag Committee and the Armed Services Committee, so I understand the national security implications of this. So we got huge problems.
I agree. Yes, we do. So let's talk about the scope of the problem. How long has this been going on, and why do you see it as such a threat?
Well, it really picked up during the Biden administration. The problem that we had, and we saw through the Ag Committee, is basically the Biden administration they do not like our farmers. They want all of our food to come from other countries. They have been pushing this climate hoax, this nonsense about our weather's changing. They pushed all the input costs so high. Fertilizer tripled in price. The farm equipment almost doubled in price. So all the input costs were so high, there was no way farmers could make a living. They just couldn't break even, much less make any money. And so it was pretty much pressure from the administration to try to, let's try to get all the farmers to sell. And so a lot of them started to sell. Listen, we lost 150,000 farms in the last 4 years and 25,000 farmers. We can't stand that. We have to be self-sufficient. We found out in COVID we don't make drugs. My God, we don't need to get to a situation where we got to depend on other countries for our food. And so the Biden administration started putting pressure on farmers. They started selling out. Unfortunately, a lot of them started selling out to entities that had Chinese implications and Russia implications. And you can't blame the farmer because they couldn't make a living, a lot of them, so they're selling out. And so it's putting us in a very tough bind. It's putting us in national security implications, and we've got to stop this nonsense. And President Trump understands it, and we're on the way to hopefully fixing the problem.
So let's talk about fixing the problem. What are some of the ways that Donald Trump can act here, and what are some of the ways that Congress can act to support our national security, to protect our farmers from these kinds of things, and ultimately to protect our national security?
Well, first of all, drill, baby, drill. We've gone from $5 a gallon of diesel to somewhere below, at some places under $3, which is a tremendous help because of all the diesel that these farmers use in their tractors and all their farm equipment. That's number one. The tariffs are going to help. We've tariffed things from all the way from Brazil to cotton, soybeans, all those things that President Trump's pushing tariffs on, all the way to catfish in Vietnam, shrimp in India, just so many things that they flood the market here with just junk, things that we shouldn't even be eating, putting in our bodies, comes from other countries when we have a much better product in this country, but they underprice it so much. For instance, catfish from Vietnam, they send in 3 billion pounds of this sewer-fed catfish to the United States, and they are running our catfish farmers out of business because we can't compete with the price. So many of those things can be done, Alex, with these tariffs. Thank God for President Trump understanding business and understanding our farmers. It's going to affect our farmers to some degree, but at the end of the day, in the long run, it's really going to help.
Yeah. So I just got back from the RCAF convention in South Dakota. This is the nation's independent cattle producers, and they talked about some of these regulations that came down during Biden, some of the ones that came down during Obama, under the guise of saving us from climate change. Now, I've seen Donald Trump has been rolling back a lot of that, but even in the big, beautiful bill, I mean, a lot of these things have not yet been enshrined into federal law by Congress. What can Congress do to try to prevent something like what Joe Biden did, something like what Barack Obama did from happening again?
Yeah, Barack Obama put so many regulations on our farmers, and especially our cattle farmers, our foresters, people that do things that really have affected them financially and, again, put them out of business. President Trump has got to stop, and he has already started this cutting back on all the regulations. There needs to be some rules that you have to go by, but it was really a bunch of nonsense what we were doing. We were forcing farmers to, if they had standing water in their fields, they couldn't plant a crop there because it was waters of the U.S. Just absolutely nonsense. And there's nobody, Alex, that takes care or believes in taking care of our land and our forest no more than our farmers and our foresters. Nobody. They're going to take care of the water. They understand if we don't have water, they can't survive. And so quit tying the farmer up to where they can't make a living. They can't actually make profits with the hard work and effort they put in. You got to remember, farmers can't control the weather, nor can they control the price. And so give them the opportunity to make the best possible crop they possibly can that is with less cost and less input. And if we can do that, we'll be able to save this country and even make better food and give a chance to be self-sufficient. If we have another COVID or if we have something, some kind of war, we've got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, turning to the gender issue, I know for the moment there are now two genders once again at the federal level, thanks to the president. But this craziness is still going on. I spoke with your staff earlier today about a women's bicycle race that was actually won by a biological man pretending to be a woman. I know a lot of this stuff, it deals more with state policy, but what can Congress do? And I know you want to run for governor in Alabama. I know you've already announced. What can the state do to try to protect women's sports, to try to protect girls and their spaces from men invading?
Well, thank goodness in my state of Alabama, we've already passed a law and put a stop to this nonsense. You can't do it. I want you to think about this, Alex. We're getting ready to have, in 2 years, host the Summer Olympics in California. And if we continue down this road, we're going to have the biggest egg on our face of having all these transgender men participate in all these sports because the Olympic Committee is not going to do it. I mean, they don't have guts to do anything. Basically, they're run by Europe. We have got to make sure that when we have the Summer Olympics in LA in a couple of years, that it's fair and we have women that have an opportunity to win, not try to place second or third. We're going to ruin women's sports if we continue down this path. It makes no sense. And I'll tell you what happens. You know, the LGBTQ group on the Democratic side, that is their base of vote. And that's the reason most of them don't believe in men and women's sports. But if they were to bail out on the transgender group of participating in women's sports, they would start to lose their base. And it just shows you how crazy politics is. They don't believe in it, a lot of them, but they're going to allow it because they love the power, they love the vote, they love to be a congressman or senator. It's absolutely ridiculous of what we put up with up here, and President Trump's going to put an end to it.
So before we turn back to state-level issues in Alabama in particular, now that the big, beautiful bill is passed, signed into law, what's on Congress's agenda for the next few months?
Well, Congress, the House today will start a second big, beautiful bill. We want to do another one by Christmas, and then we want to do another one by the 250th birthday party President Trump will sign next July. And so there's a lot of things that we weren't able to get in this bill, although it's one of the biggest bills in the history of the country. And it's a great bill. Most of it was about the tax cuts. We all know that. It's going to save people a lot of money. Also the tax and the seniors that don't have a job, that get a Social Security check, there will be no more taxing that, which was absolutely insane that Joe Biden got done back in 1983 as a senator. It just, things go on and on, but we helped our farmers. We raised input reference prices, which they get a better price. You know, if the price drops from the federal government, a lot of good things in this bill, but Alex, we have to start cutting now. There was some additions with the border money, with 50 to 75 billion more for the military, but at the end of the day, we have to start cutting back on this $37 trillion in debt because your generation can't afford us to continue to pay $1 trillion a year on the debt that we have to pay because of these high interest rates.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. Obviously, there's been some criticism. Elon Musk has been really out front on the complaining about the spending. Do you guys in Congress have any plans to try to rein that in over the next year or two?
You know, we cut some out of this, but we didn't get to the point because we couldn't get the bill passed if we continued down that path. That's the reason I think President Trump was exactly right. He went and told the House, hey, listen, you got to pass this bill. It's just the base of what we want to start to do. Even Dr. Oz came over and talking about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Listen, you know, we're going to make people go back to work. We're going to have work standards. We're going to kick all the illegals out of Social Security, which, by the way, was 1.4 million. We were leaking all bad when it came to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. But as he said, this is not enough. Let's get a base of where we're at. The next bill, we will address a lot more of it. And but we got to do it. We got no choice. And that's the reason I was really for this 150 billion for the wall and for the border. It's not. Let me explain to you. They explained it to us this way: $25 million per mile for the wall. Now, that's just not the wall, but it's technology. It's for the people that are going to work around that wall. It's going to be judges that are going to put people on trial down there when they come across, and either they can stay or can't stay. All the things that go along with it. We have to cut back on this illegal immigration because we can't afford it. It's costing us $70,000 per illegal a year for them to be here. What the Biden administration did to this country because of opening up the borders is criminal, absolutely criminal to the American taxpayer. So a lot of good things in the bill, but again, we're going to start another one, and the next one will really address the deficit that we have, because if we don't address that, it's not going to make any difference. We don't have to worry about China, and we don't have to worry about any other country overtaking us. We're going to implode from within. And we got to do our due diligence and make sure we understand that this is a business we're running, and we can't overspend every year because eventually it will catch up with you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing what comes out next. Senator, before we let you go, we've only got a couple minutes left in this segment. You are now running for governor in Alabama. What made you decide to want to leave Washington, D.C.? What do you hope to do in Alabama?
Well, I'm a builder. I coached football forever, and I really enjoy putting things together and watching it grow. And being a CEO or a governor of a state is pretty much like being a head coach. You hire all your people around you. You do what you want to do in terms of seeing how you can help the people of your state, make it grow, bring in and recruit manufacturing, get better jobs, improve your education. And so after being up here 6 years of just voting on nominations is pretty much what we do most of the time. You don't have a big, beautiful bill, but ever so often. So I can do more good back in my home state of Alabama of being the governor, being the CEO, putting a group of people together that can make our state better, and even run over into the rest of the country. So I'm looking forward to that. President Trump is all for it, and I'm excited. But I've got another year and a half here, and I want to finish strong as being a senator up in my first term.
Excellent. Where can people find out more? How do people follow you on social media?
Yeah, just coachforgov.com. I mean, that's what I'm on. And, they can follow us or Tuberville for Senate, both of those. But I'm excited about this. I've coached forever. I didn't know a lot about politics. I've learned a whole lot in the last 5 years. I count my blessings every day that President Trump got elected, because of what I saw for the first 4 years of the Biden administration, we were headed in the opposite direction for this country. My dad died for this country in the military back a long time ago, and there's a lot of other people who's given their lives for this country, and we're not going to give up the best country on the face of the earth, and we're not going to let these Democrats that actually don't like this country want to change it, but they want to stay here. I don't understand it. If you don't like it, move somewhere else, because this is the greatest country, and we're not going to allow it to be run and run down by socialists and communists that want to take this country over.
Amen. Senator, thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Good luck to you in your final year and a half in the Senate, and good luck to you as governor of Alabama. Thank you, sir. I hope we can talk to you soon.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you, too. All right, folks, that's all we have for this segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.